All right, we're back, and deep breath. We're trying a new setting on my camera, or actually more on my microphone, and it's supposed to be for noise reduction. So I was getting a little bit of crackling, and my voice was probably sounding a little annoying to, you know, some of you guys that know a little bit more about this stuff, and I'm making a big attempt here to try to clean things up and produce a little better quality content on here. What we're going to do here is this is my Sunday evening ride. You know, it's a little bit cool. I probably should be wearing a hoodie, but I'm going to give a little bit of a recap, or a lot of it of a recap of the track days with Jake riding the new DRZ. But first we got to do this wheelie real quick. That's a pretty good wheelie to start off with. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to get out on the highway again. We're doing a bit of an experiment here. Again, new setting on my microphone. I had no idea. Just shows that I do not read the instructions, and it's even with a picture on them on the manual. Quite simply, pushing one button can access this mode once your camera's paired, I do believe. Maybe even not paired. But alas, we're going to do our normal route that I do. Reaching for that 6th gear. So I went to my favorite little affordable track, go-kart track in Oklahoma Motorsports Complex. And we were kind of planning this thing. It's got to be on the weekends. We knew it was going to be kind of a busy track because they have their best kart rentals on the weekends, and you really have to thread the needle. It's really best to go during the week when there's less kart rentals, but Jake can't make it there. He's a dad, he's a husband, so when he finds a window, if he can go, that's when you can do it. You can't, you can't just drop everything and go like a single man or a person that's independently wealthy probably can. But anyway, he got the new DRZ through, this deal that him and Spike's Corner have going together. And of course, they're giving this thing away through fanofthem.com. And, you have to pay something to get entered. But that's what the thing is with that. So, but I got a chance to ride the new DRZ4SM. And so we set this thing up, and he was going to do a track review of it. He really busted his butt to get the bike ready. He even removed the mirrors and all that stuff. But to make it a fair comparison between my bike and his bike, he put the Power 6 tires on it through his connection at Revzilla. They sponsored those tires, so good on them. Thank you, Revzilla. And he really worked hard to get them on that bike, and Rivet brought the house, the RV, and he towed everything on down. And he even actually got a little seat time on the bike on the track, which is good, Mr. Rivet. Rivet the Googler, or Rivet the Fabricator. So shout out to him. I love him. He's just a really intelligent individual, and a person that is nothing but an advocate for all of us guys in the Patreon or the Discord. We always chat, and he's always educating us on technology. So thanks to him. Thanks to him for being a good friend and an excellent host and all of those things. But anyway, Jake also brought the Sherco, and I also brought my 2-stroke, which I did not ride, the YZ250 Supermoto, and I brought my DRZ, and then of course the YZ444 with the wide ratio gears. And so we mixed it up. We rode the DRZs, and we kind of got acclimated to them, and then we chased each other quite a little bit. We did a few launches. We did a lot of different comparisons. I rode it while he was riding mine, and I rode mine while he was riding his, and you know, we just got a lot of good comparisons, if you will, between the two bikes, and I think it's an upgraded DRZ. Although it didn't really get true wide open throttle, this thing was just, it seemed like it was crisper. I think it achieved a better acceleration at times, not off the bottom, but it just had a completely different feel. The wheelies were kind of not the best, we'll just say. It kind of wanted to choke a little bit and not let me. I was asking for more throttle when I needed it to really get it to balance point, or maybe just a skosh behind it, so maybe I could touch down the whale tail, but it just couldn't do it. It just was not giving me what I wanted when I wanted it. But I played with that, and I'm going to do some of those videos. I'm going to do a little bit of an edit on those and get those out to you. It's a really busy week this week with harvest, but when I decompress, I might try to do a little bit of that for you. But you know, we compared it to, you know, the YZ444. As you know, it would put a whooping on it real bad. And you know, I really got some spirited laps on there. You guys saw the thumbnail for riding the DRZ4SM that I put out there. That was one that was a screen capture from Jake's video he was taking with his nice camera. And so we mixed it up. We got after it. And you'll see in Jake's video when he drops it real soon. He's trying to get that out for the public. And he used a few clips from my camera, and he also had a moment at the very end when we were finishing up our ride. Is that somebody back there? Sure enough is. Darn, I wanted to do a whirly. But anyway, he was out there mixing it up, and he had a moment, and so I'm going to release that. That's going to be in my, I'm really going to edit this video and try to put out a little better quality one. But, you know, I'm limited by time, and I don't do this for, you know, trying to get clout or anything like that. It's just sharing my life experiences on motorcycles and different things that I do working on them. Back to the video. Jake spent some time on the YZ444, and he also, you know, I spent some time on the Sherco, and I'm going to include that on the video that I'm going to do as a kind of a secondary recap to this one. And you know, even though he's got some upgraded DOT tires, the step up, I guess it would be to these Power 6. It would be the GP2, I think is what they were. He rode those last year at Perez. But Michelin sent him out there to Perez, and he was riding those on riding an S1000RR, and he was on like a Ducati Hyper Motard and a few things, and he got to have a heck of a time out there. So good on him. But they're still a DOT tire, and the Magic tires, you know, and the little bit lower center of gravity of the YZ with the specific Supermoto. It's basically a racing suspension that I have on there by Race Tech, my friend at Speed Tech in Augusta. Speed Tech Dennis Barnett does an excellent job. Any suspension needs that I don't do in-house, he does them. He really bailed me out on a situation I had with the Tire Slayer, my 0506 GSXR 1000. Well, we'll talk about that another time. I think I have talked about it to some extent. But anyway, he set that up really well for me, and we got the sag all set up, and we got the settings set up for my tires, and they're in excellent shape. So anyway, that in conjunction with the Supermoto specific tires, the Metzeler Racetech SM, and I'm using the medium compound. You can only get soft or medium in the front. I think it might even only be soft in the front, but I have the medium in the rear, and you can get soft in the rear, but it's just pointless for me. But anyway, if he ran those on his Sherco, I think he'd have a completely different experience. And hopefully he puts some on there sometime. Now, for my Supermoto friends, you have to understand those are specifically made for a 5-inch rear wheel. 5-inch rear wheel for those. The DRZ comes stock with a 4 1/4. I've seen some people run a 4 1/4 on them, and that does change how the profile is, but do so at your own risk. That causes that bead to be pinched in a little bit, and that can really make things wacky and make the sidewall or the end of the contact patch or that point set at a different angle in which it was intended to be operated. So hopefully he runs some of those on his Sherco, and he might beat me on my YZ, because that thing has more pep for sure. There's no replacement for displacement, and you got to understand that's that's on the YZ400F, man. That's 1997 technology. So you gotta take that into consideration versus that of the Sherco. That's more modern. You're fuel injected, and there's just a little bit more technology on that bike. So a few suspension tweaks in those tires, he might beat me up pretty bad. But tires are the best insurance if you can ride track, but some tires, they just do a lot better when you push them hard. So if you're just going out there cruising or coasting around, that might not necessarily be the tires to run. And it's a beautiful day out here. It's a little bit cool. But yeah, we went rounds, and my friend Marvin came out, and we had an excellent time. He was dialing in his CRF 450R that he put his tires, or his wheels, his Alpina wheel set on that from his 450X, and that's the carbureted version, and that's a 16.5-inch front with the 165, 55, 17 on the rear. And I will talk about those Metzeler tires just a little bit now. He was running the same ones. The 16.5 front comes with the 125, 75, 16.5 versus that of my 17. That's just a unique profile. Allows you to turn in so much easier than with a DOT tire. It's just facts. So he was out there. He had a little bit of a front brake issue. We worked on that and got him going, and Marvin eventually got up to speed. So I look forward to coming out there and riding with him sometime soon. Getting a little bit of weird wind. set her down. Oh, skunk smell, yuck. But yeah, the DRZ, it was keying on the wheelie game. You know, I'm comfortable with the bike. I've got the one finger clutch lever on that, which really helps. I just powered up. I powered up Jake's bike because it had plenty of grunt, and you'll see that when I put that on the video. Excuse me. And he also, you know, it had the bark busters on there. So when you run a full clutch lever over here with a bark buster or a hand guard, if you will, we had that discussion on the Discord the other night when we were having a conversation. What is a bark buster? A bark buster is a hand guard. Well, it's kind of one of those things. It's kind of like talking about alcoholic beverages. Well, Grey Goose is vodka, but not all vodka is Grey Goose. You know, you have all those different brands of that. For example, it's not Tito's, it's not Bianca, or this, that, or other. You know, so that's back when I paid attention to such things. You know, it's not really even on my mind. As far as things goes, because I'm not drinking. I don't drink. So that's kind of an interesting situation for me to be in. The first place working at a winery. Hello, guy. If they turn around and follow me, maybe I'll do some wheelies for them and look cooler than them. But anyway, that's one of those things. It's just bark busters are a brand of handguard. Oh, they cutting some corn? They must have done a test cut. That's cool. Heck yeah, harvest time. Let's go. I'm going to be doing some harvesting this week too. So I'm going to be a tired Dewey this week. We're going to be picking grapes. The recap that I want to give on it, and you'll see it in Jake's video, is I think that the DRZ4SM is an upgraded bike. It does need some upgrades. It needs a flash, you know, so it needs a flash bad, you know, so you can get a full 100% throttle, and it needs an exhaust. And, you know, they're going to be doing some different upgrades as time goes on, as people figure those out. I hope they figure out a way to put a direct connection to that throttle body. That would be awesome. So you can bypass all the crap that's on those things that, you know, govern things down, and you don't have the delay of throttle by wire. But I'd rather ride one that's been flashed and tuned for that exhaust and maybe a little bit of an airbox improvement. But the problem with this is you can't really do a 3x3 mod on the new one, as what we've seen, and Jake's going to release that video too. It's kind of a well in there on the airbox, so if you take the snorkel out, anytime you get water under the seat, it's going to go directly, it's going to be funneled directly at your air filter. So you really I don't see you wanting to do that. But I think we can do some different things with the plastics and doing some modifications on those to improve the airflow. But I mean, they've already gotten over, 43 horsepower with a map and an exhaust, and that's just preliminary, my friends. So they're going to get more out of them, and you got to understand that horsepower is a number, and you just wait. They're going to change a lot of people's minds when you see more people running with those, and I hope that there are some more people having those that keep playing with the different things that you can do. A lot of people ask, how much horsepower this makes. Well, I'm not worried about making a whole bunch of horsepower. If I was trying to do that, I would be making a less sustainable engine, bigger valves, pushing the head to the limits, and I'd end up with a bigger horsepower number. The big thing about this bike is I make more horsepower sooner than the stock DRZ does, even with the pumper car. And that's the important aspect that we need to focus on. Cows. But yep, we're winding down our Sunday chat. We've done a whirly. I might do another whirly. We did 2 whirlies in this one. But we also, I mean, I just want people to focus on what all that I've shared here. We're going to see a few different things. My first video, the audio didn't work out. I probably started recording before my mic was fully paired, and I was excited, so that sucks. What are we going to do about it? I'm looking forward to getting my brakes in from Supermoto. I wish I would have had them for the event. Either way, so that's where we're at right now, friends. I think that's kind of a general recap for our Supermoto track day at Oklahoma Motorsports Park. And here we are back at the beginning where our fun started. Now, if I end up with a clear pathway over here, I might do a AI highway wheelie. It's a really not an active highway. But if I don't end up doing one, I want to make sure and say thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Make sure and please subscribe if you're new here. Like the video if you liked it. Comment on it. And we just look forward to doing more of this as time allows, and look for my recap, my video later on when I do some editing and some snippets of that.